Fort Worth. Today is Tuesday, November 10th, 2020, and this is Unity Fort Worth's Pray-In. As always, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this and being a part of Unity Fort Worth. Whether this is your only venture into Unity Fort Worth or whether this is one of many places that you connect and experience and participate and share. So thank you for being here. We start with the Daily Word. Our Daily Word today comes from dailyword.org. You can find and read along with what I'm going to read this morning. You also, if you want to discover future daily words or what's happened in recent weeks, months, years, or decades, you can also find that there are paid services in which you can find every kind of daily word that you could ever imagine, going back to the origins of daily word, which goes back a ways. So let's read our daily word for today. It is, pray for others. I open my heart as I pray for others. I open my heart as I pray for others. Let's add that in our chat stream. I open my heart as I pray for others. So let's say that together. I open my heart as I pray for others. Affirmative prayer blesses my life and my world. I make time every day to turn away from distractions and busyness and rest in contemplative silence. With deep breaths, I draw from the healing flow of life as I relax my mind and body. I begin by letting go of attachments and worries. When my mind is cleansed and my heart is open, I am ready to pray. I silently affirm my unity with God and with all life. As I focus my awareness on the Christ within, I allow that radiant light to shine forth, uplifting everyone I'm holding in prayer. I pray for my family, friends, and all people with each breath. My prayers bless the world, and I am grateful to be of service in this way. And the Lord restored the fortunes of Job when he had prayed for his friends, and the Lord gave Job twice as much as he'd had before. That's our Bible verse for the day from Job 42:10. I open my heart as I pray for others. Together, I open my heart as I pray for others. Well, today's venturing into prayer and pray for others. I ran across a quote recently from an author, and that author was Corrie ten Boom. And the question that she posed was, is prayer your steering wheel or your spare tire? Is it your steering wheel or your spare tire? And that one, I got a smile from my face, stopping and thinking about that. Am I using prayer as a way to direct me and guide me, drive me in my life? Or is it something that when I'm finally on the side of the road broken down, am I struggling through the trunk trying to pull out that one thing to fix me type of prayer? And I just found that an interesting and amusing image for me, because I also thought about driving that car as helping me have clarity about where I'm going and what I'm doing, and the revelation about the truth of who I am. And that if I'm on the side of the road digging in the trunk for the tire, for the fix for me, then how can I be clear about where I'm going, what I'm doing, and the truth of who I am? Because my head's in the trunk. So it may not be as amusing to you, but to me it's a good image of either I'm available, open, and flowing and in the direction of life and the truth of who I am, or my head is stuck in something and I'm not aware of much of nothing other than what I'm trying to fix. Prayer for us, as Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, tells us, it's communion between man and God. And the communion, if we look that up, is really just intimate communication. So that intimate communication between who we are as human beings and the truth, which we're labeling here, identifying as God. So prayer 2 is really, as Charles talks about it, it's a statement of truth. It's an affirmation. It's tuning our attention into the center of who we are, into the center of our being, where the Father dwells, according to Charles. And he affirms, and there he's talking about you affirm those words of truth and that you meditate on them, and that in that very still and silence that what is real is revealed to us. So here God is always thinking of Charles and the era that he came from and who his audience was, but what he was speaking of. God as Father is really cause. And even though he's talking that vernacular, he really is very clear in identifying to us that God is cause. It's all being. It's all of life is God, not just this human paternal figure that we often can hear of when we speak of God. Also here he talks about waiting in the silence, and the silence is a place that he tells us is a state of consciousness in which we are putting us in touch with this divine mind, with this cause, and that we're listening to the still small voice, which brings up for me and brings me back to this idea that I've heard before, that sometimes, well, good morning, Tammy, and good morning, Maria. Brings back to the idea that if we understand that God is cause and that everything's available, that all is contained in God, and that our prayer is affirming, making an affirmation, a statement of truth of that which is already in God, that's already in my world, then why do I need to pray? What is that bringing to me? Because if it's already here, then I don't understand why I'm having to pray for what is already here. And Charles brings to me good clarity about this, because it's really that it's not praying for, and it's not expecting to bring forth that which isn't already here. It is, though, using the creative side of us, our imaginative side, our imagination. That is what we're utilizing, is what is needed to fulfill this expression that's taking place here. So all things are contained in the potentialities of God, and that our part of our creative process is to bring that unmanifest into the manifested world, and that these ideas that we perceive are in the mind of God, so they're capital I ideas, infinite possibilities, unchanging, in that we don't pull that idea out and somehow that idea became less in God mind. It's that we're bringing them forth and in our minds and our imaginative natures, and as we affirm them, voice them, we bring that thought and clarity, we bring it into visibility because of that willingness to step beyond our own doubts and fears and confusion about our lives and the world around us, holding that truth, that nature, divine nature, that allows us to take that clarity of what we're seeing and what we're imagining into our life. Because it has to unfold for us. in a way that's unique for us. Because if you think about divine ideas, there are infinite possibilities. Well, I'm not having infinite possibilities right now. So it's through my imagination and my clarity, my prayer, that I'm helping hold the truth of who I am and hold that image of this in my world. Some ways how we pray for others. And then heart, because our statement today says, I open my heart. And heart is love, according to Charles. And it's a visible expression of the invisible center of our consciousness. And its substance is poured forth when we use and connect with our heart. So with this, I thought that it was interesting to, when you look at some of the things that Myrtle Fillmore, the other co-founder of Unity, says, because she's talking about us being here in this praying state as this place that if we recognize something as lack, that supply is at hand, according to Myrtle, and that God's world is crammed full of health, for example, and if it's health we want, say so. That God's universe is overflowing with unfailing substance, unfailing availability, all that is, all that we need to create from, to manifest as, it's here. So fill your heart and soul with it, and you will never know poverty. Just means never know the lack of, not just monetary poverty, but never know the lack of not having, of not obtaining. And she says, the great answerer makes no mistake. We get just what we ask for. The answerer being, of course, what? Truth. And that we get what we ask for. So asking here isn't just a beseeching that we might get confused about. If I just ask for it, it'll be mine. Asking, as she defines it, is really backed up by faith. It's a conviction of what is the truth in the moment. It's a deep inner knowing, according to Charles. So in our experience of prayer, it's that deep inner knowing, and that we're aligning with this wonderful communion that happens between this recognition of the truth of who we are, and in that silence, in that awakening to that consciousness state, then the world unfolds for us. So to me, when I come back and read, I open my heart as I pray for others. I'm opening to love. And my prayer is to recognize the truth of who and what I am in this moment. Thus, the truth of who and what they are in this moment. They're not on the side of the road, this poor being with their head in the trunk, trying to fix their tire. Now, my experience and their experience may be of that, but that's not the truth of who they are. There's a greater truth here. And when I hold that, and then also hold for them these infinite possibilities of what health and wholeness, what prosperity can be, then I'm holding them in these arms wide open instead of trying to put them in a small cup and saying this is all that's available for them. So with that, let's take that into our prayer this morning. Prayer of pray for others. So whatever our requests that come from ourselves, that come within, those in our world, of our friends, our family, wherever they arise, that we know right here, right now, that I relax into the truth of knowing who I am, the experience that there's one thing taking place here, one source, one power, one essence that is divine in itself, divine nature. And that as I bring my concentration down on this one divine nature, I inhale it and know it. I recognize it as the small, still voice within me, that all that is available, all the power and the source that is in the universe is contained within me. and that I have the experience of prosperity and power, wholeness, health, that all that is available in the knowledge and wisdom of the universe and the strength and the will of the universe is mine. It is mine, and it is those that I witness and see and pray for in my world. It is theirs as well. We are the same one thing, and I hold that same truth because it is the experience I have and that power and certainty that one divine source is unfolding here and now. And I'm grateful for my recognition of this one source and for the people in my world that give me the opportunity to keep returning to and remembering that. And with this, I say thank you, and so it is. Amen. Thank y'all for being here with us today. Go check out unityfortworth.org because there are things listed in the calendar there. So you could do just /calendar after Unity Fort Worth. You could go check out the blogs that's there. You can see podcasts. There's always something that I think that you can find there that might contribute to your day, as well as do check out that calendar. The new things being added, some of the old standards that maybe you haven't checked out before, but definitely new things that maybe you'll find of interest, especially as we move into these holiday season, whether Thanksgiving, Christmas, um, whatever it is that you celebrate as a spiritual time of coming together, that there are ways of supporting and experiencing that in Unity Fort Worth. So thank y'all. Thank you, Maria. I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.